Okay, back when this educational system worked, okay, which was a long time ago, the federal government didn't really have a say-so. First of all, the Department of Education, by the way, wasn't created until the late 1970s, I believe 77. What I do know and remember is that Jimmy Inflation Carter ended up writing that bill. Well, not writing the bill, he signed the bill. Now that shouldn't be any surprise that Jimmy Inflation Carter would be involved with something so stupid. Okay, but when our forefathers started this country, parents made these decisions. Localized towns made these decisions. And why does that make sense? Why did it work, and why does it make sense? Well, it worked because nobody cares about kids more than the parents. I understand there's some exceptions to that. You got some crackhead mom and dads that could really care less about their kids, but for the most part, statistically speaking, nobody cares about kids more than the parents do. Okay, nobody's going to care about the education more than the parents. Washington, D.C., okay, if you're a liberal and you're watching this, or if you're a rhino, okay, Republican in name only, and you're watching this, aka you're a liberal as well, okay, are you really so stupid and so ignorant and so blind to believe that those boys and girls in Washington, D.C. really care about your child? I mean, really care about your child's education? Come on, they don't give a crap. They don't even know your kid. They don't even care about your kid. They don't even know your kid exists. Your kid's a number. It's not even a name and a number. It's a number. Okay? And that's how they view your kids. Okay? Now they're forcing the state to view them as well, all in the name of getting federal funds. When the parents make these decisions in the individual towns, that's a different story. Because the kid ain't just a number, okay, to the kid, or to the parent, and because of that, the parents force the educational system localized in towns, i.e. like the mayors, for an example. I mean, a mayor in each town, so your mayor, okay, the school, the board of education in your town, things of that nature, to start not only viewing your kid as a name and a number, okay, instead of just a number, but more than even a name and a number. Okay, the parents can pressure the school system a lot better. However, the parents can't pressure school systems anymore because the school systems don't answer the parents anymore. They have to answer the federal government because they need that funds, okay, that would be available to them. Now, if in the end they don't comply with No Child Left Behind, or if they just decide we're not going to be a part of your failing No Child Left Behind, the federal government says that's fine, no problem, we're just not going to give you any money. So in essence, when the federal government says we are following the Constitution, that we let states run themselves, okay, they're not letting the state run themselves. Okay, the states are forced to go along with this bill, because if they don't, they won't get the federal funding. Okay, so this isn't a situation where the federal government is standing back and letting the states run themselves. That's a total pile, if I've ever heard of one. Okay, parents need to be back into control of making these decisions. Schools need to be able to make decisions on a local level. And we need to bring capitalism into the school system. Okay, that'll create real competition that schools will be forced to actually reckon with and go after. Okay, i.e., okay, give the parents the money, okay, and say, you guys write the check out, okay, to the school system. If you live in Town A and you'd rather go to Town C's school system, then go for it. Cool. We won't charge you any extra money. Instead, we'll just take that money that town, school A was going to get, and just give that to town school C instead. Okay? So it forces schools to do now what the parents want, because if they don't do what the parents want, the parents can move their kids somewhere else. They can't do that now unless they can afford private school. Okay, right now it is, if you live in Town A, you got to go to school system Town A, or just ship your kid to private school. Okay, have fun paying for that, by the way. Okay, not anymore, okay? Under this kind of ideal situation, one that nobody in Washington, well, some conservatives advocate this, but certainly no liberals do, and that's simple. It's that who cares where the money's going to, okay? Let's just send it to whatever school the parents want it to go to. So if school A, okay, if everybody decides to leave school A is out of business. Now that forces school A to pay attention to what the parents actually want, because they can go out of business. Right now, they can't do that, because they need to pay attention to what Washington, D.C. wants, so they can go ahead and get their federal funds. So it'll bring it back to the localized community where the school system actually worked when our forefathers were around. Teachers, B. Okay, they are swallowing up the money like no other. Our healthcare is so expensive because our country's so freaking overweight. Okay, and until a healthcare bill actually, looks into that, area, okay, healthcare is never going to get any cheaper. It's that simple. Okay? Educational system's the same way. Teachers suck down this money like no other. Let me tell you something. You people watching right now, what do you do for a living, huh? Do you work in retail? Are you a salesman, a saleswoman? Are you a painter? Are you Joe the plumber? Are you a garbage man, a garbage woman? Do you mow lawns for a living? Whatever your job is. Okay? Do you get summer off? No. Do you get 2 weeks of winter break off? No. Do you get spring break off? What the hell is spring break? Do you get a fall break off? What the hell is a fall break? Okay? Do you get tenure? Okay, at your job? If you just stayed at your job at Walmart for 10 years, do you get tenure? Do you get tenure as a salesman, a saleswoman? What is this stuff? What are these benefits that teachers get? Do you get all your health care paid for completely? Huh? Do you get your dental paid for, your vision paid for? Do you get all your family members' dental health paid for? Let me tell you something. Teachers and politicians have a lot in common, and that's that they have the sweetest compensation package for their job, don't they? They get the best health care in the world completely paid for. Dental, vision, they get the summer off. They get 2 weeks of winter break off. They get tenure. Politicians don't necessarily get tenure, but teachers get tenure. Let me tell you something. My biggest mistake in life is that I went to school to be a business major and not an education major. Because teachers are the luckiest SOBs on the planet. They've got everything made. Everything is handed to them. They work for 8 months out of the 12, but they get paid a year's worth of salary for it. Okay, I love when teachers say I make $35,000 a year. If I make $35,000 a year, that means I work for 11 months out of the 12. Okay, probably even more than that, and I make 35. Teachers mean, well, I worked for 8 months out of the 12 and then sat and drank margaritas on the beach over the summer. And I ended up getting $35,000. I love when teachers quote what they make per year. You don't make that in 12 months. You make that in 8 months. If you decide to be lazy and drink margaritas during the summer all day, then fine, that's what you make in a year, but that's your choice, okay? But everybody that's watching this, I bet, you don't have that same choice, do you? You got to pay for half of your health care, which, by the way, that cost is going up, isn't it? You probably don't even get dental and vision paid for, and if you do, you got to pay for some of that as well. You certainly don't know what tenure is. What the hell is tenure? You mean if I was a salesman for 10 years for job A, that means that I just get money, just handed to me every single year constantly? There's going to be rules and regulations over if I can get fired or not. I mean, what's up with the teacher pension as well? I mean, these things are insane. Teachers are handed everything on a silver platter. And you know what? The first people to complain about their benefits are always the teachers. Okay? Some towns want their teachers to start pitching in for health care because everybody else in the country is doing it. Teachers are like, oh no, we can't do that. How could you want me to pay for some of my health care, my family's health care? That's unheard of. Teachers are not really, a lot of teachers, now again, I'm not making fun of all teachers. A lot of teachers, well, not a lot, but some teachers happen to agree with me on this. But I think that there's a big portion of teachers that don't know what it's like to be a typical American. A typical average Joe like you and me. They don't know. They don't know what that's like. They don't know what it's like to pay for health care. They don't know what it's like to work a summer, actually. Okay, they don't know what it's like to work more than 8 months a year. It's absolutely insane. You want to know why our educational our educational system's so expensive and not working? Because it's going to the teachers. They get to just do whatever they want with it. And the third one is punishment. Schools can't discipline children anymore. If you yell at a kid, minorly degrade the kid, school systems can get sued now. Now if you're a kid, you can tell a teacher to F off and where to stick it. You might get a day suspension, that's it. You can't do anything else, especially if they're black or gay, or Hispanic or some kind of minority, because then they can call racism or say that you hate gays. That teacher hated gays, that's why they wanted to suspend me for a day. It had nothing to do with the fact that I told the teacher to F off. So again, kids can do anything what they want to teachers nowadays. Teachers aren't allowed to discipline their children. Screw that. Let's bring some little corporal punishment back. I'm not saying that we need to beat the kids, okay, but let's teach these kids you can't F with the teachers anymore. Okay, so teachers, I'm sticking up for you. Okay, I'm going to slash your pay so that you know what it's like to be an actual working American for the first time in your life. But at the same time, I'm going to give you a little power over those kids now. Okay, those are the problems in our educational system. And if those three problems are not fixed, our educational system will always be lower than the rest of the world's. It's that simple. And Obama doesn't seem to understand that. He thinks if we just spend more money and put the federal government in charge of things more, then it'll fix everything. History shows us that just isn't the case. So that'll conclude this episode. Again, www.adamgibbonsworld.com if you want more info about me or